So my name's Tessa. I work here at Stepabroad. So to jump into it, we're going to talk about how you can live, travel, and work in the UK. So the first thing I really want to jump into is what a working holiday is. That's what we're talking about today. That is what essentially is going to allow you to live and work in the UK. So a working holiday is great because it allows Canadians to live and work abroad in over 30 different countries. So to give you some perspective, if you were American, you can only do this in 5 countries. So as Canadians with our passport, we're really lucky. The one thing to note though is you can really only do it between the ages of 18 to 30. A few countries let you do it till 35. And 30, I don't know how old you are, but it may seem old to be 30, but the truth is it comes so quickly. We have so many people that are turning 31 that are like, how can I do this? And unfortunately, you can't. So you really have to be within this age limit to do it. Otherwise, it becomes a lot harder. So while you're young and you have this opportunity, go after it, go live abroad, travel. So the great thing about a working holiday is instead of just, some countries you can only visit for a month or so as a tourist, as a working holiday visa, you can work abroad for 1 to 2 years, depending on the country. One thing to know though is you can only have this visa once in your life per country. So you can have it for once for every country, but once you do a working holiday in a certain country, you can never do it again. So with that in mind, it really truly is a once in a lifetime experience. Okay, so now let's jump into what it really is. So the great thing about a working holiday is it allows you to make money while you're traveling. So we all like money, we all like traveling, and this is great because it allows you to do both at the same time. So, of course, if you're making money, then you can afford to stay longer. So instead of just, saving up and spending all your money once you go traveling, you can actually earn money while you're abroad, which is really great. So what that means is you also get to experience life more like a local. So you'll be working with locals, you'll be learning all the cool trendy spots as a local, places that tourists won't really know about. So it's a really great way to really fully indulge yourself in that country. On that note, you're also going to have the opportunity to create a community and friendships abroad. So if any of you watching have ever been traveling before, you know how amazing it is to meet people abroad. So whenever you're traveling, people are so open and friendly and you really create that travel community. When you're living abroad though, it really gives you more of an opportunity to create those deeper connections because of course you're there long term. And then of course the great thing is that you can gain some international work experience. So beyond just making money, you actually gain some really valuable experience to put on your resume. You're going to gain things like adaptability, communication. It's going to show that you're open-minded, and it's going to look really cool to just have some work experience from the UK on your resume. So that will really help you stand out to future employers. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about now is what a UK working holiday visa does allow you to do. So if you get the UK working holiday visa, you can live and work in the UK for up to 2 years. So that's really great. A lot of countries only let you do it for 1 year. So the UK, you can do it for 2 full years, which is pretty awesome. If you don't want to go for 2 years, that's okay. You don't have to go for 2 years. It just gives you that option to stay for that long. The other thing that's great is there's no restrictions on the type of jobs that you can do. So whether you want to find a fun job in a pub just to make money and meet some friends, you can do that. Or if you're more serious and want to go into something more related to your career, you can also do that. There's really no restrictions on the type of work that you're allowed to do. As well, what's really great is you're covered under UK healthcare. So of course, the second you leave Canada, you're no longer covered by Canadian healthcare. So a lot of people recommend you buy travel insurance when you go traveling. When you're in the UK though, you will be under the UK healthcare. So that means if you have any health issues, you'll be covered just like regular UK residents over there. So it's really great if you get sick, you're in safe hands. It's also great because you can experience the unique culture and vibrant city. So the UK has a lot more people than us, they have a lot more culture than us, they honestly just have a lot going on there. So it's so great. All the cities are so vastly different from one another. So there's so much to explore if you want to go to Edinburgh, if you want to go to Glasgow, London, Manchester, like you name it. There's so many different cities. They're all so different, and all of those are up for grabs to either live in, work in, or just travel to. So it's also great because you can live in a city that has a lot of history, architecture, and of course castles. So Canada is a very new country, and you really realize that when you go to places like the UK and you're walking castles. Sorry, lost connection on Instagram. You see castles, so literally on the weekend you can go explore castle in the UK. There's so many amazing architecture within the city, so it makes living there a really cool experience. And then, of course, you're so close to the rest of Europe, so it's really easy to go explore other countries while you're living abroad in the UK. Canada is such a big country, we only border with the States, so it's not very easy for us to quickly pop into another country. While living in the UK, though, you have so many countries around you that are a couple hours away. Okay, so let's jump into some facts about the UK. For those of you who are probably wondering what it's like living there. So once you start working, a lot of people want to know, what will I be making? So the minimum wage actually depends on your age, which is quite interesting. So if you're 18 to 20, it's about $11.11 Canadian. If you're 21 to 24, it goes to about $14.15 Canadian. And then if you're 25 years old or older, then you make about $15 Canadian. That's minimum wage though, so if you look online at job postings, most entry-level jobs will pay at least $17 an hour. That's entry-level positions, so of course if you have other work experience, you can expect to be making more. So another thing people sometimes don't realize is if you get the UK working holiday visa, it allows you to live in England, Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland. So you're not just only allowed to live in England, which sometimes people think. No, you can go live in Edinburgh if you want, Northern Ireland. The visa allows you to live and work in any of those places. If you want to work in a few different places, by all means, you're more than welcome to. As we said before, you have 2 years, so you have a lot of different options if you want to move to another city and try out a new place. One of my favorite things about the UK is that if you're working a regular 9-to-5 job, you get nearly 6 weeks of paid vacation a year. So if you're familiar with Canada and our laws, we get about 2 weeks of vacation a year. So when you compare that to the UK, where they get about 6 weeks of vacation a year, that's amazing, especially when you consider all of the countries that are around you to explore, and that you can be there in a couple of hours. It really gives you a lot of opportunity to go and travel the rest of Europe, and you're usually paid for that time off too, so that's really great. So now, of course, we can't go anywhere these days without talking about the big elephant in the room, which is COVID. So of course that's affected everyone here in Canada as well as around the world. So a lot of people are wondering, are the UK borders even open? And the answer is yes. The borders are open and they are processing visas as usual. The only difference now with COVID is that you do need to quarantine for 14 days once you arrive in the UK. And as soon as you do that, then you're good to go. So a lot of people are also wondering, is the process any longer now? How has it changed? So the visa application process has remained the same. The visa application processing time is also the same. There are no delays. The only thing that has changed is before, when you entered the UK, you had to pick up what's called your residence card within 30 days of arriving in the UK, and it's very important to pick up this document. So now they've actually extended it to 90 days, so that's about 3 months. So if anything, this actually works in our favor because it gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of when you're actually entering the UK, so actually it works out for the better. So now let's dive into the costs for the UK working holiday visa itself. So the first thing, and one of the cheapest costs, is actually Stepabroad support. So for our send-off package, it's only $249, which is great. We try to be really affordable because we want to inspire as many young people to go and travel as possible, and we really don't want costs to be a barrier for you. The visa fee itself, which goes to the UK government, comes to about $415 Canadian. And then the most expensive fee to know about is the UK healthcare. So remember before I mentioned you're covered under the UK healthcare system. So when you purchase the visa, you do have to opt in for the healthcare. And when you do, you have to pay for all up front. So you'll be covered for 2 full years, but you do need to pay that fee up front, which comes to about 1,000 Canadian. So do bear that in mind. There's one other fee which may or may not pertain to you. So when making your visa appointment, so you do need to go in and submit your documents in person, you have to pay for the appointment at all of the locations except for Toronto. So if you are applying anywhere besides Toronto, you do need to pay $100 for an appointment. If you are going to Toronto, you lucky people, it is free. Don't ask me why, it's just the way it is. So you're probably wondering what the total is. So the total to budget for in terms of getting the visa, the healthcare, all of our support comes to about $1,600 to $1,700, somewhere around that range. You can budget for that. So I want to go back to the UK healthcare. So I know it seems like a lot that it's $1,000 up front, but when you break it down by month, it's really just $42 a month. And when you compare that to major health insurance companies, they're charging about $68 a month for travel insurance. So when you look at it, you're actually saving a lot of money by being able to opt into the UK healthcare. So the other thing a lot of you are probably wondering is, how does Stepabroad help you? So I can't list everything down on this PowerPoint, otherwise it'd be a really long list. But I'm going to go into the main things for you here. So first and foremost, we help you with the visa application. This process, a lot of people say, is a little bit overwhelming and stressful. So we really walk you through it to make it just as easy as possible. We double check all your documents for you to make sure that they're correct. If you submit documents and they're not done correctly, your visa will be rejected, and unfortunately, they don't refund you for that. They don't tell you how to correct it. It's just rejected. So you would have to pay the whole visa fee again if you had to try and apply again. So we just make sure everything's done correctly, as well as make it as stress-free as possible for you. You also have a personal work and travel advisor that is answering all your questions along the way, and we do a pre-departure orientation with you, where we walk through everything that you need to know about living and working in the UK, questions you didn't even think you knew. We tell you everything, and then along with that, you get an info pack. So just so that you don't forget everything, you'll always have that info pack to refer to with a lot of helpful resources. So we also give you another guide for working in the UK. So we do provide resume revision to make your resume more professional, and we also provide a lot of resources that are industry specific to help you find a job in the UK once you get there. And we also set you up with a UK SIM card. This is especially helpful now if you have to quarantine for 14 days. You're definitely going to want, a UK phone number and some data. So we send you a SIM card to your address in Canada, so you can activate it and then have it as soon as you arrive in the UK. We also helped you set up a bank account, and we provide you with accommodation assistance. And then the greatest thing is you can join our private Facebook group, which is for our stepmates. And this is nice because you can automatically start connecting with other people in the UK. They're in the same boat as you. They're also Canadians moving abroad. So it's a really nice way to connect with other people. And of course, we do provide more. I'm not going to go into it. If you want to see everything that we do, you can check out our website or view one of our brochures. So, for example, right now we have one participant, Kendra, who is in the UK right now. So Kendra said about our services is, and I quote, "What would have been overwhelming in the beginning became much easier when you have a knowledgeable team to help guide you. I strongly recommend their services for anyone looking to do a working holiday abroad. Because of them, I'm able to fulfill my dreams of living and working in the UK." So she was amazing, as she's in the UK right now, and she said those kind words. So yeah, she's currently living and working over there. Hopefully lots of you are able to follow in her footsteps. So now let's get into working. A lot of people always ask, what jobs can I get? Okay, so the next thing is you're probably wondering, okay, well, how do I get started? So to get started with us, it's pretty easy. You just go online and you fill in our online application. It's at stepabroad.com/apply-now. So the application itself is free to submit. So a lot of people think they're committing to just going up and leaving the second they submit our application, and it's really not. It's for us to A, make sure you're actually eligible for the program, and then B, for us to get an idea of your travel plans. And then if you did want to get started, you would pay the program fee and we'd get started. The great thing right now is that we are offering flexible booking until January 2022. So if you don't know when you're going, but you sort of want to just start getting planning and get the process started, that's totally fine. We're not going to hold you to a date. You can be flexible. We're here to support you, not push you. So there's quite a big difference there. So we do offer flexible booking. So don't feel like you have to have your date set in stone if you want to start getting started. I mean, the whole purpose of us is to help you plan that trip. So feel free to apply if you just want to get that started. I explained before, there are no restrictions on the type of work you can do. What I like to tell people though is it's always going to be similar to if you're applying for a job here in Canada. So of course, if you have experience in the hospitality industry, then you'll be able to find a job in that industry a lot easier. If you already have IT experience, and of course you can get IT experience. So it really has to do with your previous work experience, education, very similar to if you're applying for a job here. We have people over there right now that are working in pubs, that are au pairing, that are teachers assistants, that are working for major organizations. So it's just across the board in the terms of work that you can do, and it's really quite personalized to each person. Okay, so then the next thing I want to jump into for all of you is accommodation in the UK. Of course, you want to make sure that you actually have a place to live when you get there. So I'm not going to lie, it can be really tough to find a place to live in the UK. Places go so quickly, you don't have time to think about it. If you like a place, jump on it. As well, in order to get a place to live, you need to show your last 3 paychecks just to prove that you have 2.5 times your rent money. You also need to provide a reference from a previous landlord, a reference from your employer, and you need to pay a security deposit equal to 2 months. So I know a lot of you are probably like, oh my gosh, what? So that's why we have a preferred accommodation provider, because we don't want you to have to go through this, especially right when you get there. There's already a lot you have to think about. So we have a preferred accommodation provider, and this is great because you can rent either a room and have roommates, or an entire apartment, whatever your preference is, and you don't need to provide, that work contract that I explained to you, or your bank statements. And then all booking can easily be done online before you get to the UK. So it's very similar to Airbnb, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, where you can see the photos of the places that you're going to and the prices. So in terms of prices, you can budget for about $830 Canadian to about $1,000, depending on if you want shared accommodation or if you want a private room. So that's really great because you can arrive in the UK knowing you have a place to live. And the great thing about it is don't sign a lease. So you don't have to commit to a 2-year lease or anything like that. You can literally sign up for a couple of months, and then once you're settled, you can always look for something else after, once you can actually go and view things in person. So one person just asked a question, Sarah said, is that only in London or anywhere in the UK? That is a great question. So it's not just in London, it's in most of the major cities in the UK. Okay, so the next thing is you're probably wondering, okay, well, how do I get started? So to get started with us, it's pretty easy. You just go online and you fill in our online application. It's at stepabroad.com/apply-now. So the application itself is free to submit. So a lot of people think they're committing to just going up and leaving the second they submit our application, and it's really not. It's for us to A, make sure you're actually eligible for the program, and then B, for us to get an idea of your travel plans. And then if you did want to get started, you would pay the program fee and we'd get started. The great thing right now is that we are offering flexible booking until January 2022. So if you don't know when you're going, but you sort of want to just start getting planning and get the process started, that's totally fine. We're not going to hold you to a date. You can be flexible. We're here to support you, not push you. So there's quite a big difference there. So we do offer flexible booking. So don't feel like you have to have your date set in stone if you want to start getting started. I mean, the whole purpose of us is to help you plan that trip. So feel free to apply if you just want to get that started. That is our presentation on living and working in the UK. So thanks so much everyone for joining. Bye now.